All right guys, Damien Bentley here. We are back with the vlog series. We're going to be coming out with consistent episodes. Our off-season series, which is going to be a very long series and a long awaited series for me since I was in prep so much last year. But yeah, we're going to be bulking. We're aiming for like peak bulk. We want to be about 290. We want to try and aim to be like fairly lean. We'll see how that process goes. But I'm also getting married this year, so I have to cut for my wedding after getting to my peak weight, which is later in the year in November. Just a little play on the year. We plan on cutting for the wedding, and then after the wedding we are going to start prep and look for some shows to do after November. Hopefully get some early points for qualifying for the 2027 Olympia. But the goal is to fully transition over to Classic instead of doing men's physique like last year. We took 5th at Pacific USA's and then 15th in Classic. So we're really focusing on bringing up all body parts this year and filling out the frame. My weight cap is 249. Last time we stepped on stage, it was we were 233, and we're currently sitting at around 265 to 270. I did my body fat about 2 weeks ago and it was 8%. Right now we're in a phase with my coach, Team Zero Gravity, where we're trying to lean out at 265. Not like get completely shredded or anything, but we're just trying to make sure the body fat stays low before we get ready to push food and cycles even harder with the gear and everything. So throughout these episodes, while we're working out, we'll tell you kind of what we're doing at home, what we're eating food wise, what we're taking gear wise, and as well as like supplements. We're about to hit arms today, so today is going to be the start of the vlog series, but it is Friday, so it is Fat Arm Friday, and we are getting started with a white rabbit. So let's go get after it. So on arm day, we usually do about 3 to 4 triceps, 3 to 4 biceps. We usually always start with triceps just to warm up the elbow. We like using the metal V-grip handle because we'll eventually work our way up in weight pretty heavy. Usually about 170, 180. We're getting close to pushing the full stack with actual like precision and good contraction, not swinging through the elbow. We try and prioritize form over everything. So throughout these vlogs, gonna kind of like showcase how I like to lift on occasion. Usually if it's like a day I'm working out where I mess around, I might slang and bang some weights around and get crazy with it and not worry so much about like tempo and stuff. But I kind of like to incorporate that mentality of like the science-based lifting with like slow controlled tempo. But instead of like how everyone's like, oh yeah, use lighter weight, like how about just do that but with heavy weight? And that's kind of like my thought process on lifting is like you should still go heavy and be as tense as possible, and what's going to help create that extra intensity with the heavy weight is being slow and controlled and actually focusing on squeezing all the muscle fibers. And if you actually focus on doing it like that, you'll get a lot more muscle activation versus just moving weight around from point A to point B, which is why some of you struggle with so much progress in the gym, is because you're just moving weight around. You're not really focusing on contracting the weight back and forth. So, and later in the video, I will show you guys an idea I came up with. I don't know if maybe we'll show it, maybe we won't. We'll release the idea later, but I am eventually coming out with my own product to help people in the gym with certain body parts and working out. So we'll probably showcase that on like a chest day or something like that where it's a little more relevant. Yeah, we'll eventually have our own de-aesthetic products. Not sure what we're gonna call it, but we'll figure it out. So currently, since we started off season, well, really the start was, I would consider the actual start after the reverse. So we've been in off season for a little over a month and 2 weeks. So December and most of November, I was just on post-cycle therapy, which for most of you who want to actually know what post-cycle therapy actually is, it's just HCG and enclomiphene. Certain other coaches might structure that a little differently with like HCG and Clomid. There may be other components to PCT as well, but that's what we did for about 2 months. Then got blood work done. Everything was clean and fine. Nothing was excessively high. So then we got back on TRT. We were completely on nothing for 2 months enhancement wise. Now we're just on test sip, test prop, and EQ, all very low dosage. 300 sip, 100 prop, and 300 EQ. We just started the EQ. We've been on test for about almost a month, and we've been taking insulin for about a month as well. Very, very low amount pre and post workout. And also we've been taking IGF-1, LR3, and growth hormone, which we just cycled off of both of those and switched over to just IGF-DES, that we're doing that locally, primarily to the quads, upper chest, and lats to bring up those areas and make them a lot fuller. So that's pretty much the full cycle. Oh yeah. As you see there, we're trying to prioritize the form. Like I said, with heavy weight, I could actually go faster at repping that out. But the point is, with the slower momentum or no momentum, with the slower push through, is actually making me focus on driving with the tricep and not incorporate any other body English to move the weight. When you guys work out, try and focus on what you're actually supposed to be contracting. I think the best way to learn that is to kind of move weight slower. If you're really new to the gym and like a beginner and everything, I wouldn't get hyper fixated with this. I would focus on seeing how strong you are and kind of just moving weight around for more volume and seeing what you can do with that. And then once you get more comfortable with the weights and can actually like work with a heavier weight set, then I would try and incorporate this after getting used to working out and being in the gym. If it's like your first year as a gym goer, don't hyperfixate on this. Just, you can still make pretty good progress at first, just moving weights around. Your muscles are new, they don't know anything. Oh yeah, now it's time for a heavy set. And that's how you know weight's not gonna move, is you're not gonna cheat by using other body parts. So if it really doesn't move, there's no reason to move around or change your positioning to get the weight down there. Just stop. Especially like, I'm not gonna get hurt moving around trying to get that rep down, but on other movements you could. So definitely know your limitations. Not moving. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, 190 was heavy. They're getting some blood in there. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Oh. Oh. Yeah, single arm. So, as you saw during the last set, I started getting a little faster. But that's because we went a little lighter, but I still started off really driving through the muscle head and squeezing. Some of the squeezes were a little longer, but that's so I can feel everything like deeply and tightly contract. And then once I start getting fatigued, I start speeding up the reps so I can optimize on volume and really go to failure. Probably could have gotten more reps, but form would have started weakening. and I don't want to start throwing it through my elbow and using my lats or rear delts to help compensate with the movement. Now we're moving into single arm triceps. We usually like to do like 2 tries and 2 bis, and then as we really start to get fatigued, we will move into where we do 1 bi, 1 try, or vice versa. But kind of go off feel and energy, and sometimes what's available in the gym. We work out pretty early, so it's usually pretty dead. But these are pretty simple. Just drag elbow across the body and hold it there, and then only move through the lower arm. The upper arm just stays locked into the side of the body. And with this one, you do not need a ton of weight. And if you're moving a lot of weight on it, you're probably doing something wrong. Oh, I have an idea, which would be pretty funny. We'll do like some photos one day in the Nui Man suit, but I'll just like stand up here. Like, we'll have to get like a fan so it's like blowing my cape. I'll bring my fan from home and just have like someone hold it. But I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be really funny. We'll like crop the background into a city instead of a gym, and we'll put like the real picture and the photo edited picture. My arms, measurement wise, same size, but I would say my left tricep is a little weaker than the right. It usually doesn't do, I feel like doesn't do as many reps. With these, I really like to go until I'm getting less of a full movement. This is what a lot of people are doing wrong with triceps, is they stop here when they can literally just let their arm come all the way up into their bicep and then pull through, getting much more of a stretch on the tricep head. But a lot of people, even a lot of people when I start training them in person and stuff, they, for some odd reason, they can come down, but then when they come up, it's like, we're doing this. But like I said, guys, no upper arm movement when it comes to triceps. That's how you fully isolate into the tricep. Thought while I was doing that, I'd throw in a little learning stuff for you guys, but this workout, since it's arms, we'll kind of go over some technical stuff, but our other vlogs, when we're getting heavy, I'll probably just shut the fuck up and get after the weights. So I had a large amount of carbs this morning because I had to. I don't have enough body fat to do sub-Q injections, so I started taking my insulin intermuscular, and my first time doing that was this morning. I didn't realize when you do it intermuscular, it hits a lot harder and a lot faster. So while I was heating up my breakfast, I got real flush and hot, started shaking and profusely sweating. So I probably ate about 10 to 15 mega marshmallows, you know, the real big s'mores ones. And then I started to feel a lot better. But so we had like a little cheat meal with breakfast from the amount of marshmallows I ate. So we're getting a good marshmallow pump, is what we'll call today's arm pump. We're gonna title today's video Marshmallow Day. I literally have the bag of marshmallows in my car. I drove with them here just in case. It's like, in case I need more marshmallows. All right, still did more than I thought, but I'm still gonna do the drop set instead because I could have gotten a lot more than I thought with the 50, but near the end there, I didn't feel like I was getting a full contraction. So if I can do lighter weight and actually squeeze all the way through, I'm gonna get a lot more breakdown and benefit from going lighter at this point than getting 15 of 50. All right, a little guessing game for you guys. If you guys watch to the point of this part of the video or not, then you can be a part of this little contest. 50 bucks if someone can guess the size of shirt I'm wearing, but only the first person to guess it right. So I'll go over the comments and the time frame and everything to make sure that it's the first person to guess it. But guess what size of shirt I'm wearing, because I bet you'll be wrong. Now we're doing a single arm preacher curl. I like to kind of rest this into the meat of my thumb joint, and then I don't really hold on. I kind of like clasp my fingers and squeeze them tight. That kind of makes me feel more engaged into my bicep. I feel more tight from the start this way, and we're really focusing on good contractions. It's honestly one of my favorite bicep movements. And we will curl until it hurts.
And then keep curling.
Yeah. Like I said, I could move this weight faster, obviously, like this, but I just don't feel like I get as much out of it unless I'm driving and squeezing. Oh, fuck. And I usually start with the right arm. Oh, fuck. That burns. Oh, on this, because my left arm actually connects a lot easier with this movement versus my right arm. It takes a little bit more engagement and warming up to get it like real tight. For some odd reason, that first set was actually really good. Also, another thing, guys, is when you're doing preacher curl, when you curl up, do not raise your elbow up off the pad. You want to try and keep the tip of the elbow flat into the pad. That's why the pad's there. Why is because you don't want to rotate up into your delt, because all you're doing when you pull this up is pulling your delt tight, which actually is probably putting more strain on your bicep tendon and not really giving it any benefit. At least here, I'm contracting and shortening the bicep tendon and tightening the muscle. Oh, that was a good bicep warm up. Yeah, like I said, usually this one, to that was really light. For this one, that was actually really like a good warm up and wake up. Like you can almost see the difference in like pump in both my arms. Like this vein's a lot more full than this one, but that's because it was the right amount of stimulus weight wise and repetition wise for this arm, versus this arm can handle a lot more on the preacher curl. I've been trying to balance that out. Like I said earlier in the video, my arms are the same size, just my right tricep feels stronger than my left one, and it's kind of the opposite for the biceps. My left bicep feels stronger and my right one feels a little weaker. So I think there's a little, I wouldn't say size imbalance, just a little strength imbalance obviously, but we're just working on leveling those things out in off season. Not that really it doesn't matter too much, because strength doesn't matter that much in bodybuilding, but you don't want to create a muscular imbalance to where maybe a judge could visually see the difference in arm size on stage. That's gonna hinder the ability of winning. Like Hadi Chupin, he has one leg that's slightly smaller than the other, which is why he hasn't been able to regain the title for the most part. There's other things that are probably going into it that are holding him back in some area. He could be a little, he's like full and shredded, but like from the back, I would say he looks a little flat sometimes. Some of the other open guys are a lot more full and bubbly in the back, but that could also just be genetics and insertions playing a role in that. But that's why it's good to try and have everything filled out. That's why I mentioned I'm taking the IGF DES in 3 different areas, so that those attributes are a lot fuller for next year when we step on stage. Because pretty much the judges told me more upper chest, more legs, and more lower lat. They said in general I'm pretty wide but I need to be a little disproportionate. I'm so wide up top that even though I have good legs, my back width makes my legs look small. So I need to bring up my legs and have them a little overly sized to be in comparison to my natural wide structure up top. I'm cursed to look like a superhero. Another thing you guys need to focus on working through is that barrier of pain. If you're stopping right when it hurts, you're missing out on the best part. Oh, God. Ah, yeah. Ah, that hurts. That's a good weight. Yeah, I don't think I need to go up from there. Oh yeah, I could cramp right now. Yeah, I've been cramping a lot less since I cycled off the growth hormone. My body definitely needed a little break from the GH. God, 100 IUs of growth is crazy. I think the guy in Larry's video said he tried it the first time just to see pretty much if he wouldn't die. And I was like, that's a really big risk to play right there. Like, oh, let me see if this kills me or not. Like, I think he doesn't actually do 100 IU a day because I was watching the video and he said he just tried it once. But so they just tell people that he does 100 IUs a day. But I think he said he does like 20 to 25, which is still a lot. Like, I was just doing 5 to 8 like IUs of growth hormone a day. Like, so he was wrong. He means 24. Your age is relative to the size of your biceps, so I'm actually 19. I really like preachers because I like how round and tight it makes my bicep feel. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Yep. Come on. Yeah. My ab almost cramped on that last one. Like literally. Yeah, the arms have definitely been growing. So I feel like I need to bring those up to be more competitive as well. I'd say your average classic guy is 21 to 19-inch arms. We're at like the bottom range of like good with arm size, but a little fuller and better never hurts. Whoa. So we just did like a shortened movement with the preacher curl where the bicep tendon and muscle is naturally in a shortened position. Now we're going with the opposite where we're more in a lengthened position with the bicep and just kind of dragging and contracting up into the bicep. I kind of like doing that with a lot of muscle groups, especially hamstrings. I feel like that's what's gonna give you the best benefit of growth, doing something that's shorter with a really good contraction and then doing something that's lengthened that can get a really good contraction as well. Obviously, certain hamstring movements don't have that, like RDLs, because there's no curling of the muscle, but it's a great lengthening movement to do after like laying leg curls or seated leg curls. So for biceps, if you're doing like a spider curl or a preacher curl, you want to do something where your arm is going to be in a longer position, whether that be a bicep curl or an incline like bench curl, where you're sitting at an incline and the arms are hanging back and you drag the weight up. Or you could even go with the old school conventional drag curl. But this and or the incline bench curl, I would say, are two of my favorite bicep exercises. We're trying to create a lot bigger peaks this year in the bicep. The brachialis is pretty prominent, especially when I'm lean in my arm. So we really do either 1 to 2 movements for the brachialis. Usually hammer curls or reverse curls. Sometimes I'll do hammer with a rope. Most of the time I'll do hammer with dumbbells. Most of the time I do them bilaterally instead of like unilaterally, one at a time. That's just because I'm comfortable with my form and I can feel both biceps really well while doing them bilaterally. If you don't, when doing them bilaterally, I would say focus on one arm then the other, so you can really feel what your arm is supposed to feel like when it's fully contracted. And then once you get good and comfortable with that, try them bilaterally again. That's what I think is funny about lifting and hypertrophy and everything. A lot of people don't understand what hypertrophy necessarily is. Sometimes people think it's reps and weight and like a mix of things. It's not really any of that. Hypertrophy, not hypertension. Hypertrophy is mechanical tension or applied force on a muscle group to create results. So the more applied tension that you can create, the better the result. So like I said, that does include other variables and implements like moving slow, the correct amount of weight. So for bodybuilding, it's not about just lifting heavy. Sometimes it's about the correct amount of weight. And sometimes the correct amount of weight is heavy as fuck. Yeah, with these ones, start to get a little pump set in there after getting a lot of good slow contractions is how I like to do this one a lot more. Certain other exercises, I might purely focus on slow and controlled squeezes. This one, when I get through that threshold of going slow and feeling the contraction, I like to speed it up because I can really feel the blood rush into that bicep head and I get a lot better pump. Usually by the time we get back to this, I don't feel like super pumped in my triceps, but muscles are firing today. So we're back onto triceps where I said in the workout where we get to like going from tri to bi. We'll do this, then we'll go back to a bicep and we'll do one more tricep and one more bicep. We kind of play it by feel for like the fourth one. Our third bicep movement will be hammer curls, and then we'll kind of choose another one. We'll be pretty burnt out, so the fourth exercise for try and bi will pretty much just do pump sets, just to keep blood flushed into the muscle. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh. We just recently got this machine a few months ago, and honestly, these style of overhead tricep machines are probably one of my favorites. I think Nautilus used to make a version in Cybex, but they were cable and a V-grip handle from behind over the head, which still really great. A lot of tension and super heavy. But I grew up kind of at a gym where they had both variations of that machine, and probably why I'm really good at overhead tricep movements. At the end of the video today, we'll do a little arm measurement. Then a few months from now during the vlog on another arm day, we'll see if they got any bigger. That way you guys can see the progress as we go through this year of off season, because we're pretty much going to be in off season for almost a full year. We're going to come back into the competitive season once we start competing again and choosing shows. We're going to be a lot more competitive. I'm so tall, I'm just trying to make everyone else look on stage like they're my son. Except I just found a bodybuilder, guys, on Instagram. I can't remember his Instagram name, but I'll find it again. He's from Australia. He is the tallest Australian bodybuilder, is like what he's like coined as. He's not a pro yet, but he is 6'7", 6'3", 6'2" and 1/8 on stage. So in off season, when I, a little watery and have more body fat, I'm a little taller, but yeah, the guy is 6'7", but we kind of have a freak on Team Zero Gravity of our own. His name's Jacob. I call him Nemeth the Behemoth because his last name is Nemeth, but he's not 6'7", but he's 6'6", but he's fucking 300 pounds. But that's the sad part about the other guy that I found from Australia that's 6'7". I couldn't find how much he weighed, but he's definitely not as big as Jacob. But it still has great physique. Just kind of, I'd say he's probably in the 230s, 240s maybe when he competes, but his weight cap at 6'7" is like 270. So I stepped it up on my warm up with this. I usually start at like 130 to 140. I just put it on like 176. The plates are a little weird on this one. They go up in weird increments, so it's 176 instead of 175. Oh yeah. Oh wait, it's still not that bad. Except this fucker. The foot pedal on this likes to move a lot. Yeah, that's it. As you guys see, I'm not fully extending my elbows straight because with the over the head movement, if you get into a full stacked position, you still will have some tension on the tricep, but you're actually gonna also put bearing weight into your shoulders. So it's like almost mimicking the pressure of like doing a front delt press. And I'm trying to keep all that pressure into my triceps. So I kind of really only hit like almost a full extension, but it really keeps everything engaged in the tricep. So give that a try if you guys try, even on a rope. If you're just doing any general overhead tricep movement, give that a shot. Oh yeah. Oh. I love and hate this machine right now because that was hard. Yeah, hammers. Now we're back on the biceps. Yeah, we'll show a little off-season physique. We're still holding some good shape and lines. Not too fluffy yet, even though Thanksgiving and Christmas was kind of a wreck. I had a lot of cookies and cinnamon rolls and things I shouldn't have had. I mean, it is off season, so I can have them, but should I have had them? Probably not. Did I? Yes. Do I regret it? No, because I'm still shredded. Literally, depending on the meal, I could still have veins in my abs. It just really depends. It's good to pose in between sets, kind of to rush blood around, but also if you're a competitor or want to compete, you should try and pose in between sets so you can build a better mind-muscle connection when posing. If posing feels hard, that just means you should practice it more. So like, if you're posing and want to do shows or get into doing shows, if something feels hard to contract, mimic certain workouts. Like if you're doing a front double bicep, stick your arms out straight, kind of like draw in and squeeze until you feel the greatest amount of tightness in the bicep. And that's how you want to kind of feel out your poses. You want to be focusing, like if it's side chest, I want to focus on squeezing my chest. So practicing movements to get into them and feel them is what's going to help you the best with learning how to pose. So the greater mind-muscle connection from your workout and hitting poses while working out can translate into how you're posing when you practice. Weird thing with positioning on hammer curls is when you see people doing them with one arm, you see a lot of like this or like movement in the shoulder, like kind of like hiking the shoulder up. I said body English, body language, whatever you want to call it earlier in the video, but what that means is movements like this. So if I'm doing a hammer curl and I'm doing this, I'm using some natural body movement or body English to get the weight up there, which is not what you want to do. You want to drive your chest up, keep the shoulders locked down, and squeeze through the bicep. Remember, if you're doing a true arm day, you're pretty much only doing isolation. You don't want to use other muscle tissue besides the arms. So chest day, bigger days, that's completely different structure because obviously those are true compound movements, not really a compound movement for your arm because it's one specific area. So trying to lock in and only use the bicep or tricep, depending on the movement, is what's gonna reap the most benefits. Got a pretty good bicep pump going. Veins are popping nice and good. yeah, got some new tattoos since my last show. We'll soon be getting one on the inner forearm to complete the sleeve. So, a little breakdown so you guys can learn a little bit about me. We've got the Claymore, because I'm Scottish and Scottish heritage. Claymore stands for pride and strength. It's got an eclipse behind it, which is what the red circle is. It is a blood eclipse, which stands for rage. That's why it's being held back by the sword. So the rage is held back by my pride and strength. I'm English, so we have also a Templar Knight from the Crusades. And then we have the Excalibur sword, which is King Arthur's sword, the King of England. And I also met my fiance at NPC Excalibur, a bodybuilding show. So this moon is from the night that we met. And then the new tattoo that I'll be getting here in March is of what's called the Rampant Lion. It is a Scottish symbol as well that stands for power, strength, and courage. So yeah, the Rampant Lion is also known as the Red Rampant Lion. It's on a lot of coat of arms of Scottish families. So royal Scottish families. Not that I'm royalty, but I guess I have ancestors that were. So, but I think it'll look pretty cool once it's all done and slapped together. And it's on my forearm, so it shouldn't mess with any scoring for bodybuilding. So now, if you guys look up Rampant Lion and see the actual image of what's on the Scottish coat of arms, I am not getting that. It is a horrific drawing of a lion that looks like it was drawn up by a third grader. So not getting that necessarily, but getting something that's premised around that. It'll look way cooler than the flag, trust me. Oh. So we're doing something a little special that I don't see a lot of people do. I mean, I see them do with like a regular close grip for rows, but not necessarily with the mag grip. So this is kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like to call it the rail car, because it's kind of like a true push down, which I feel like dudes who moved rail cars around on the railroad probably had fucking massive triceps. Because if you've ever been on a rail car and tried to push one of those things down, it is actually really hard until you build up momentum, then it gets easier. But that's kind of what this movement is. So instead of grabbing it like a row, we're gonna flip the handle around and pull it down to the side, let the elbows flare out. And we're gonna drive the weight into the floor. Oh, fuck, oh yeah, that's great right now. Yeah, and you kind of wanna drive it off of the palm. Oh, but the squeeze you get on this is insane. And this is just a lightweight set too. Like, this is not even crazy heavy, but it hurts right now because our arms are dead. Kind of a movement that exists, but I just kind of tweaked it a little bit with my own knowledge of training and positioning. You get a better natural flare on the elbows instead of it being so forced by a straight handle, because you get a natural curve. We always train early in the morning. We're actually missing one training partner today. He had to go into work early, but Brian comes every morning at 6, and then Joseph should be here for our next vlog. But we're running a guys group in the morning for people who are on my online training. They can come be a part of group, which if you guys hit me up and want to join online training and are local, come on out. Or if you're in town visiting and you're an online client, you just gotta be about it and wake up at 6 and wake up early and get here by 6. You show up late, you can work out by yourself. We might not start right at 6, so if you show up and we haven't started, you lucked out. Yeah. Oh. So that's it for the arm day. We're gonna go do a little light posing. I don't practice as long in off season with posing, but I still practice my posing. Actually, soon we're getting a mirror at my house, so we'll do some posing in the garage and incorporate some of that into our vlog episodes. Yeah, just some quick mandatories. Right now, currently posing probably 3 to 4 times a week. Nothing crazy, just to keep the feel and flow. So let's head to the posing room and go check that out. So yeah, we've been practicing some posing, not a lot, but we've also been incorporating a few other favorite classic poses just to see which ones we kind of like more, fits us well, what looks better as the body grows and changes. Sometimes your favorite classic pose that you used to do might be different next time you step on stage. So it's important to always practice your posing and be hypercritical of what displays you the best on stage. But that is it for today's vlog, guys. We're done with arm day. It's time to go eat and get our second meal in for the day. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're gonna be coming out with weekly episodes now. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the video, and go follow IFBBPro_D Aesthetics on Instagram, and stay tuned for more. We'll see you guys next time.